Some of the content of Patriots Unfiltered may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The world's original podcast.
Welcome to Patriots Unfiltered.
Deuce is on vacation. What's he up to?
He doesn't talk to me about personal things. He talks to me just about, like, what do you think about this guy, you know?
All my beasts printed out, neatly sorted with bulldog clips by position. And then
Now, why
I've
do you
got
call
my
those
Arlets.
bulldog clips?
That's what they're called, right?
The mid.
To level off. Yes, I didn't, yeah. The mid.
Is
Yeah.
that what your kids say? Mid.
Have you all checked out Jackson Kawach, linebacker from Miami, Ohio?
I'm going to, like, assume that's a made-up name.
Yeah, probably.
I think he's trying to get me. I'm probably 20 to
Kawach.
25 deep on linebackers in this draft, and that name's not on the list, so I'm going to say fake.
Jackson Kawach, 23rd ranked linebacker.
Wow.
Okay, so
oh,
just
Evan.
20 deep. You just
Seventh-
got to get 3 more guys.
7th round projection. You can be forgiven for not knowing a 7th round
Fake. Yeah,
projection.
no, not a real
He's
person.
not fake. He's real.
No, I would have to see evidence that he's real. Send me the tape.
This is Patriots Unfiltered.
Presented by Toyota's official website for deals, buyatoyota.com.
All right, welcome to Patriots Unfiltered. It is Tuesday here at Gillette Stadium, and we're getting closer to the draft. Busy day here at Gillette. The players arrived yesterday. They're back from their time off. It's not mandatory. They don't have to be here, but I think a little over 60 guys were here yesterday.
Oh, really? You got? Did you take attendance?
Yeah, I think 62 to be
I
exact.
saw that Christian Gonzalez was one of them.
Yeah. So they were here, and there's some availability today. And we just found out that Mike Vrabel will be talking at the podium momentarily. We will not have that live, but Evan will be there.
Evan's there, so he'll have to be our conduit.
Yeah,
when
so,
he comes back, hopefully.
When Evan gets back, we'll talk about and discuss what Mike Vrabel had to say. Kind of, guess that he might be talking today just to kind of address.
Yeah, you and I talked about
Yeah.
it as the show. We were getting ready to come on the air. I just thought waiting. I knew he would talk at some point, draft weekend, but I just felt like they might look at that as let's do this now, get it out of the way,
Get it
and
out
then
of the
let
way.
the draft be the story.
Yep.
For the,
Yep.
the draft pick and all the stuff that goes into that.
So we'll cover that when Evan gets back. He's over at the new media workroom in the new Balance Athletics Center. So when he gets back, we'll discuss. Also, of course, we're going to be talking about the draft, and I do have
Do you
my
have
back.
some? You
I have
some?
my back of the envelope,
That's great.
but I'm going to wait until a little later.
Oh, you have a lot of back
to
of the
go
envelope
over it.
guys this year, Freddie.
Yeah. Well, not really a lot. I focused on 4 positions: wide receiver, tight end, offensive tackle, and I threw in a linebacker.
No edge?
All you guys are going to be talking about edge. There's no pound the table guys in any position for me this year.
I would agree with that.
So
Wholeheartedly.
I figured I'd leave the edge to Deuce. Deuce is the edge guy, but I've got some back of the envelope. We'll talk about. I want to wait till Evan gets here because I want his reaction. Not that
You're like, no, that, no offense taken, and I know you didn't mean any.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like that, that sort of edge of satisfaction you get when you say some back at the envelope guy, and Evan looks, good, Fred.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Oh, good. Yeah. I know that guy.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
he's a good player, Fred. And Fred's like, stick your chest out.
So one thing I do want to talk to Evan about, because he came out with, I don't know, mock draft 2 or 3.0. And I want to ask you and him and really anyone out there, beyond just getting clicks, what is the purpose and the goal of doing a mock draft if you're a draftnik?
Right. And I would say individually, how do you do it? Are you trying to get the picks right?
Right.
Are you doing what you think is the order that these players should be picked? Are you doing it based on needs for teams? Like I like to know what.
Yeah.
Because I think Mike had something like that he put out, and I didn't really quite understand it. There was like, I think he had a trade in there of all the guys that he thought the Patriots could take, and I'm like, are you trying to predict who the Patriots are going to take, or are these the guys that you like for the Patriots? Like,
Right.
I could see these being Patriot-type players, which
Right.
aren't necessarily the same
Right.
thing.
So to me, the goal should be I want to see how many I can get right. You know, if I'm going to do like a first-round mock draft or a Patriots mock draft, I want to see if I can think like the Patriots. And obviously, no one knows how the board's going to fall, but how accurate can I be?
I would agree with you. If you're going to do a mock draft, you should be trying to predict
Yeah.
how the players are going to get selected in the first
So
round.
if that's the case, other than small tweaking, what is the point of having 2.0, 3.0? And the reason I ask is because like Evan in his 2.0 goes, all right, this one I'm going to do it as if they draft a tight end first or whatever. It's like, well, what do you think they're going to do? Like you could have 4 different drafts and make them all different.
Yeah.
Then what's the point?
I agree with you.
What's the point?
I could see doing, multiple versions because things change. You
Right.
you get information,
Because
but
of
but
the-
no, that's not what you're talking about.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I agree with
Right. I'm
with-
going to do
with
this
you.
one as if they're doing this. Well, what do you think they're going to do? And stick with that and then tweak it a little bit. If, okay, now I think they're going to trade for A.J. Brown. Okay, so maybe that changed my first round or something like that. Or I don't take a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. That I can see doing a 2.0 or 3.0. But just to, wholesale do a different one doesn't, then you're just playing games. Then to me, it's not the true spirit of a mock draft.
So when you take a poop, you don't stare at it forever. You got to flush it eventually.
Well, I guess so.
What was that
I don't
from?
know what that analogy
That
has
sounds
to
like
do
a
with anything.
catch-22 one.
Yeah. But so I want to talk
We
to
don't
Evan.
stand for that kind of talk on this show. We're highbrow.
Yeah. I know Evan's going to be really mad with that line of questioning, but I do want to ask, what's the purpose of doing a wholesale different draft? And okay, which is the one that you're standing by? Which is the one that you think will happen? So, all right. That's just my little thing on mock drafts. So
I'm with you on mock drafts. Okay, so Mike Vrabel is at the podium.
so do we have play-by-play?
So I'm just going to read you. So I guess let's see. Starts off his statement thanking everyone for their patience in addressing his personal and private matter. He said he had a candid conversation with the Patriots players on Monday,
Yep.
which we kind of figured because that was the start of the offseason program. Quote, I've had some difficult conversations with people I care about, with my family, the organization, the coaches, the players. Those have been positive and productive. In order to be successful on and off the field, you have to make good decisions. That includes me. That starts with me. So I guess that was part of his statement. I'm just sort of looking to see, as it comes in, if there's anything different. I'll try to have
Yeah.
one eye on the Twitter machine and
Yeah.
my ear
So
listening
then the
to,
other
to
thing
the
is, will he
conversation here.
take questions? Or is it just coming up there and making a statement? We'll see.
Well, I think if you're gonna go to the podium, you have to take questions, right?
Do you? I don't know.
Wouldn't you just put a statement out if that's all you were
I
planning on
guess,
doing?
but maybe he wants to look people in the eyes when he says. I don't know. Everybody's a little bit different in how they approach these things, so we'll see. We'll see what he has to say. Hopefully, he addresses it and we can move on.
I like that part of the statement.
Yeah.
Just taking accountability. I like that. It's not fall
For-
back on semantics
what?
or anything. No, I'm that part of it I don't really care about.
Yeah.
And I know you sort of, you kind of agree with me last week. I don't really care. That's a personal thing, and he's right about that. It's a private, personal matter, and that's between him and his family and the players.
Yeah. Yep.
Again, this is why I am not on the team.
Right.
I'll get back to it, and this is a perfect example. He owes me nothing. He owes the players something. That's the difference. Paul, right again. Thank you.
So, hold on. I'm getting.
You're getting buzzed?
Okay. So, no, this is just internal.
Okay.
Nothing to do with Vrabel. So, okay. All right. So that's that. We'll hear from Evan when he gets back.
You're right. I'll be curious to see if he takes questions and how many, and
Yeah.
how he handles those.
Yeah.
Probably. My guess is you fall back on what Bill would do, and I
it?
already
You've
addressed
addressed
that.
it?
I
That's
already
it.
addressed that.
Yep.
I already addressed that.
All right, so people might be wondering why I'm sitting in a different chair. I had a little,
Yeah, surgery.
little thing done, the Achilles.
But I'll
and
tell you,
take out a bone
Fred
spur.
missed no time. Very impressive. Missed no time at all.
Why should I?
I didn't miss any either.
Yeah. You get
Kevin
right,
Falk still makes fun of me for it.
get right back on it. Yeah. So I can't put any weight on it for 2 weeks, and then I'm in a boot for a number of weeks after that.
Yeah, it's not the most pleasant
No.
surgery you have, but it's not too bad either. You said that you're doing pretty well.
Yeah.
I didn't have any pain
pain-wise.
either.
I don't have any pain or anything. It's just I can't put any weight, so it's a real pain in the ass, getting around. Although I do have this scooter here.
Yeah, and I saw you yesterday on the scooter a little bit too, but I heard today you were like buzzing around.
Moving around.
flying.
Sometimes you go too fast.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you just
Yeah.
lift your feet off the ground
Right.
and you're flying.
Yeah. So you got to be careful going around corners. You might have a.
Freddie, I had a chance to speak in an event last night for John Hancock, and
What library?
it was here.
oh,
It was
here.
It was here
Okay.
at the stadium.
Yeah.
This is a big time guy.
Okay. You're off the library circuit?
Yeah. Although I might have had more people at the library. Ty Law, the great Ty Law.
Oh, yeah?
Was on hand, and
They're
He's-
serving vodka?
well, he's got the Corvus vodka that
Yeah.
he's peddling. But he's great. The great storyteller. He's a lot of fun to be around.
Yeah.
Ty Law brought back some good memories.
So what were you talking about?
The draft.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But mostly just talking about my dealings with the team and some of the players. People were asking like some of the players that I enjoyed covering and whatnot. What the difference is, covering the team now as
Yeah.
opposed to with Bill Belichick.
Barry
That was a
Collins.
big one. Well, I told the Ted Washington story
Yeah.
about when I did that feature on him, and suddenly we became boys for a minute there.
Yeah.
And then I was like still scared to death anytime I was around him.
Yep. All right.
But it was fun. It was good to see Ty.
Yep. So the other story that we should probably talk about, and you were on radio this morning, and you addressed it, but the kind of non-report from Adam Schefter yesterday.
Was I too much on that?
No, I
Do you
mean,
think?
there
I
really
just-
wasn't anything different. The only thing different, I think, was he used the word likely. It's likely to happen.
Yeah, I
and
didn't
to
go back
me-
and parse all the words, but yeah,
but to
I'll
me-
take your word for it.
To me, him coming out and saying that means it's going to happen. Neither side can just say it until after June.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been like this for six. I mean, it's to the point, Fred, that we have a lot of our listeners here on this show have sort of asked us to move on and stop talking about A.J. Brown a little bit
Right.
because I think most people feel it's a fait accompli.
Yeah. So
And then yesterday, Schefter's like, "Oh, breaking news! This
Right.
is going to happen." Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
We've been on this for like 6 weeks.
So Eagles had opened their offseason yesterday, just like we did, and he's not there. So, I mean, I think
Not surprising.
Yeah. So both sides are preparing for that. On our side, there was a report. Your guy, Jordan Schultz.
This to me was additional
Okay.
information.
Jordan Schultz reported that Kayshon Boutte, and this came out earlier too, that he's been reported to be involved in trade talks. Kayshon
This
Boutte.
year?
No, last year.
Last year, absolutely.
Last year.
Last year around this time, these kind of draft intel roundups that Adam Schefter had, the one that he had on Monday that
Yeah.
had the A.J. Brown stuff, Kayshon Boutte was one of the quote-unquote veterans that was
Yeah.
evidently available.
Yeah. And then yesterday, Kayshon Boutte was posting from a beach in Miami.
Was he?
Yeah.
I did not see this.
So what does that mean? Like, how do you read into it? It's just
So in other words, he wasn't here.
he wasn't here, and he was tweeting that he wasn't here. Or
He
I don't
wanted
know if it
he
was
wanted
IG.
it known.
He wanted it known that he wasn't here. Maybe if the report from Jordan Schultz is accurate, he knows he's part of.
So would
trade
you do?
talks.
No, the answer. I'm going to guess. I don't want to put words in your mouth, Freddie, but I'm going to guess your answer is no to this. But like, would you do a second-round pick in Keyshawn Booty for AJ Brown?
Second round pick in Keyshawn Booty. Yes.
Or you would. I figured with Keyshawn Booty involved, you'd say
No,
no.
I like Keyshawn Booty. I think his arrow's pointing in the right direction. But if you get AJ Brown, you're almost becoming like the Red Sox outfield. You got a kind of a logjam in that room, right? You got to get rid of somebody.
I agree.
You know,
I agree. The chances are someone would have to go.
because I
The
think
draft is going to be part of that too. Did the Patriots draft a receiver at some point? You know, and I don't mean like in the 6th round.
right. No,
You
I know.
One of the
Yeah.
one of the top
But
100.
I
picks.
think you might be able to get AJ Brown for Keyshawn Booty in a 3rd round pick.
But that's kind of what I was thinking. Not
Yeah.
necessarily that you're hell bent on not trading Booty, but
Right.
more so like if it's Booty, I mean that's
Yeah.
straight up.
Yeah.
Figured you'd be.
Oh
looking,
no, I
looking
think
to
you're
do
still
that
going to
straight
have
up.
to give somebody.
Yeah.
You know, listen, if I'm another team and I see what Booty did, I like it. I mean, I liked it being on the Patriots. Like every time he was asked to do something, he did it.
I think I said those exact words.
Well, you
today
probably
on the
got it
show.
from me earlier in
I did.
some other show, but no, but like
For the
you
last 2
you
years,
know, I'm a
basic-
big Booty fan.
For the last for the last 2 years, basically every time he's been asked to do something, he's
Right.
been able to produce.
and not just short little underneath.
No.
I mean like
No,
really highlight reel catches.
I would agree. I don't think that he's ever going to be sort of your big volume guy. The only place that you and I disagree is I think you feel like he has this next level to get to, and I
Right.
think he's kind of at the level he is.
Okay.
I think we both agree that the level he is isn't bad.
Right.
I like the player. I think he's
Yeah.
been really good. I think he was really good for them this past year. 2 years ago, I may have been guilty of, well, someone had to catch the passes in a miserable season, you know, when you won 4 games.
Yeah.
Last year, as you said, a lot of big plays downfield in big spots in games.
Yep.
So again, every time they asked him to do something, he produced.
So I think he's an asset that other teams would be interested in, and I think that him being part of an AJ Brown deal can actually lower what you'd have to give
Yeah.
in terms of draft pick. Now,
No, I think
you know,
that's fair.
Now we're all talking about the Eagles and AJ Brown, but there could be some other things out there that the Patriots are looking at as well.
Well, they might be able to get a draft pick back in return as well. You
Right.
know, it's one of those pick swap kind
Yeah.
of deals. Maybe
So-
you go at a 2 in Booty for Brown and a 5. Or
Right.
Something, you know, who knows?
But maybe they're looking at a tight end from another team, or maybe they're looking at a tackle from another. Like, I think Booty's an asset, and I think you've got, obviously your draft picks. I wouldn't rule out a trading. The Giants just had a big trade with the Bengals. I
Huge-
think
huge
that's
trade.
a ballsy trade by both sides.
I like that trade
Yeah.
for the Bengals a
Yeah.
lot.
So if people hadn't heard, Dexter Lawrence got traded from the Giants over to the Bengals for their 1st-round pick.
Yeah.
And that was number 10.
10th overall. Yeah.
That's a high
Yeah,
pick.
some people thought that was surprisingly high. Some people thought, no, that's in line with the kind of player that Dexter Lawrence is. I think it's semantics. I think it's a good trade. I like the way you said it. I think it was ballsy trade for both teams. I like it for the Bengals, though. I mean, their defense is obviously starved for talent.
Yeah.
So this is a guy who's
Yeah.
going to be motivated now. He's getting his money.
Yeah.
He's going to be motivated. And maybe he doesn't, I don't know, maybe he will see just as many double teams there, but I think that's a big
I always
move.
look at it when you're trading away a 1st-round pick is the age of the player that you're getting in return, and could you possibly be getting somebody that you know is better in the draft? And I think the answer is no.
No.
So it's a good trade by the Bengals, and it's a good trade by the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants. So the Giants are one of those teams that a lot of people think can be sneaky good this year right away. I think people are really
Well,
believing
it's
in
all-
Jackson Dart.
Right. It's all about the quarterback.
But it's also Harbaugh. I think people think
Yeah.
you have
Yep.
some stability at the head coach position. I don't know. I've always liked John Harbaugh as a coach, but maybe starting to like it a little bit less in recent years, just because I think they're so talented, and for whatever reason, they haven't been able to consistently. Last year was obviously a disaster for them, but even getting knocked out in the playoffs the last couple of years,
Yep.
I don't know. I think he's a good coach, but I'm not sure he's a great coach.
All right, so those things are bubbling around. Any other NFL stuff going on?
So, did you happen to see the Justin Jefferson comments with regard to J.J. McCarthy?
I did not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it right in front of me, so I don't want to misquote him, but basically, paraphrasing him, he feels like McCarthy's got still some ways to go. You know,
I think the Vikings think that too.
No, it's clear that Kevin O'Connell wanted to bring in Kyler Murray,
Right.
not just to light a fire under J.J. McCarthy, but to play.
Right.
I had this argument when it happened. I don't think that they made that move to give him a veteran backup.
Right.
And I don't think Murray signs there if he thinks he's signing as a veteran backup. So I think there's certainly some signs that McCarthy either is going to really have to improve dramatically or he's going to be in trouble. He's going to be probably moving on to another team sooner than later. You know, this is year 3 now. If you're not establishing yourself as a starter
Right.
by year 3,
Yep.
then you're in bust territory.
I'd love to pull Jefferson over to here, but I don't think that'll ever happen.
How did you get there?
Well, if he's unhappy,
He's not unhappy. Who said
No.
anything about it being
he
unhappy?
doesn't think they have a quarterback.
I think he's excited about Kyler Murray. That was the whole thing.
We'll see. We'll see.
Now, maybe he won't be as excited in September, but I think right now, I think he's looking at it as an upgrade.
All right. So that's pretty. I haven't heard any other big stories coming. Oh well, what do you think about the Cowboys making Aubrey the highest paid kicker in history?
They kind of had to do that, didn't they?
Yeah, it was $7 million a year, something
Yeah,
like that.
I mean, you know me. I'm sort of one of those. You know, everybody has a kicker. They're all basically the same. He's the best.
Yeah.
So if the best doesn't get the most money at that position, then who does? If I were a Cowboys fan, the one thing I would worry about is, does this give Jerry Jones an excuse to sort of skimp around the rest of the roster and not make as many? Because
We got our kicker.
he's famous for that.
Yeah.
Like, well, you know, I paid C.D. Lamb, so, you know, Micah Parsons has got to go.
Right.
Well, you can pay them both. You have two, you know,
Right.
extremely talented players. They should be getting more money. That would be my one concern with the Cowboys, is that they think making the kicker the highest paid kicker in football is significantly improving your team. It's
Right.
not.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going through the league in my head, and I haven't heard any other big
Yeah, and I haven't
news.
heard a ton of, you know, it'll start probably now, like where you start hearing these little tidbits for Thursday night,
Right.
where, you know, someone, you know, like the Reuben Bain situation, there's an off-field issue with him that supposedly was common knowledge among
Yep.
all the NFL teams. So I don't think that necessarily will impact him. His short arms could.
Yep.
You know, that could cause him to drop. But I haven't really heard anything.
Couple of guys on my back of the envelope have some off-field stuff, but I'm
That's why they're on the back of the envelope.
I'm thinking that they could be steals, and bring him into the right environment. We'll straighten him out, but we'll see. We'll talk about that when Evan gets here. 855-PATS-500 is the
So,
hotline.
I don't think he took questions,
Okay.
but I'm efforting to find that out for
I don't
sure.
care for that. Podcasts@patriots.com is the email address. John in Louisiana writes in, Deuce was somewhat anti-A.J. Brown, saying he wants to draft and develop and let Drake build with a young guy. Now, when A.J.'s on our team in 2 months, emphasis on our team, Paul. Can't wait to hear Deuce say this is exactly what Drake needs, blah, blah, blah. I'm only kidding, but I still would like to draft a wide receiver in the first round. Hashtag Denzel Boston. Hashtag Bayou.
If they trade for A.J. Brown, he still wants to draft
Yeah,
a wide receiver in
yeah.
the first round. I don't think that's got
No.
much of a chance of happening.
Well, if it does, you're going to see other guys get
Yeah.
let
Yeah.
go.
So and now I'm a little confused. There is Mark Daniels says that Vrabel indicated that Kayshon Boutte communicated with the team that he wouldn't be in Foxborough at the start of the offseason workout program. So maybe he did take some questions, but didn't take any more questions on
that.
the Rossini situation. I don't know.
All right.
I'm just trying to get caught up here on Twitter.
We'll get it straight from Evan.
Yeah.
Jared in L.A., little technical. Just want to report that as of 2 weeks, the podcast has gotten so quiet. I have to max volume in my car to even hear it. Forget about hearing it on my phone. Not sure what you're doing on your end during export. Well, we got to look at that. Matt Morrell.
Oh, where is he listening from? And I there's a lot of questions to that.
Okay. But I heard somebody else say the same thing, and I sent it to Chris Ferreira.
You did. You sent it to me as well.
Yeah.
And Ace and I looked into it, and we can't figure out where they're listening from because everything sounds normal on everybody's phones here.
Okay. Well, a couple people are saying it, so I don't know.
What kind of a program you're running in there?
It may
Morrell?
not be the live version. It could be just the...
No, we listen to the podcast back. We listen to the YouTube back.
Okay.
We're listening to it. We hear it
Do a
fine.
lot-
All right, so-
we do a lot of quality control, Fred.
All right. So I'm talking to our listeners right now. If you're having audio problems, give us some information. Are you listening on your phone? Are you listening through your car? Are you listening, on YouTube, on TV? Like, how are you listening to it? And have you tried other ways? So
Perfect. Thank you, Fred.
Here's Evan. So the man of the hour.
Evan
Everybody's waiting
has
for you.
returned from press conference.
Well, we're waiting for your report because obviously we didn't cover Mike Vrabel live. So
Yes.
we sort of got some tidbits off of
I
social
read
media.
a chunk of his opening statement.
But you
Yeah.
were there. Tell us what you thought happened.
Yeah, I would just say that the two biggest, Cliff Notes version, the two most important things were he addressed the team about it on Monday, on the first day of the offseason program. Said he had a candid conversation with the team on Monday. And then he also said that he's, obviously had an open door, and anybody that has any individual questions and things like that, any conversations players want to have about it. And then I would say the number two thing would just be, it's up on the wall in the auditorium. It says, make good decisions. And he said, that starts with me. I have to.
So did he
make
say
good
that he made a
decisions.
bad decision?
He did not say that directly, but he said that, we have to make good decisions,
Okay.
and that starts with me. So, obviously he called it a personal matter. And that was pretty much it. That was pretty much the summation of what
Okay.
the most important pieces of it that he said.
And he didn't take questions on it, right?
He did take a few. I don't think was necessarily the intention, but he did take a few, and basically didn't comment much further on any of it.
So
after
did
that.
people try to ask him questions and he said there were no he wasn't taking questions on that? How did that work?
Pretty much. So after he made his statement at the podium, he sat down with the media in like a scrum style and answered some questions that were 90% football. I would say it turned to football eventually. There were a few at the top that were about what was happening off the field, but most of it turned to football by the end. The draft, things like that. But it was, he didn't really go into too much detail after the statement. I would
And
say.
did he say, this is it? I've addressed it. We're moving on.
I think that's the hope. I don't think he
Yeah.
said those direct words, but I think the hope is, the other thing I would just mention that he said that I thought of when we talked about off the air, Paul, is just not sending the players out there before he himself got out there first.
Yeah.
And today,
I think it made a lot of sense to do what he did today.
Yeah.
Today, I'm sure you guys talked about it, but it was supposed to be the first day of player availability in the offseason program. Usually they send out captains, guys that were captains the year before that are back on the team this year. And he didn't want to send players out there to speak with the media before he addressed the issue. So he came out and
So
said,
what was his comportment? And I say this, I actually want to know because, Mike Vrabel, he's an alpha guy. He comes out, he owns the room and all that stuff. Was he a little bit, step back from that, or was he the same Mike Vrabel?
I would say maybe a little bit step back from that, kind of like maybe a little vulnerable, I mean, it's a personal matter. This is not, you didn't make, a coaching mistake in a game or something like that. This is a personal thing.
Yeah.
He said he had a lot of really hard conversations with people that he cares a lot about, whether that's here in the building or at home or whatever. And so, that was a little bit of a different side. I think, I would say that this wasn't, there's no doubt that he's still the guy that he is, but there was a little bit more vulnerability there than usual.
Okay. Well, all right. So hopefully that's done with. Media, a lot of draft buzz from the gang.
Well, I think it was interesting, the way that they did it. It was pretty strategic, honestly, because the only people that were really there were the beat writers.
Right.
So it wasn't like he was.
You didn't have the news guys
Right.
from Channel 5.
No one was asking him to answer to the fans, Fred.
Right. We didn't, luckily, have any of that. So it was really just the hardcore beat writers that come to these things. And, for the most part, we've talked about it on the show before, a lot of them, myself included, have some sort of rapport with him at this point because we've spent a lot of time with him, frankly. So, this isn't, it's as hostile as it could possibly be.
Yes.
Because of the fact that he has developed over the past year plus,
Well, that's PR 101. Any young coach should take note and develop those relationships because they'll come into play. It's tough to be tough on somebody you like.
Yeah.
Or at least you have to think twice about it. So, all right, we'll move on from that. But I do have a lot of emails coming in about the sound, Matt Morrell. Lower than anything I play.
But you also have a couple in there saying, I listened from the same source, and it sounds fine.
Okay, all right.
Oh, Fred, picking and choosing
No,
emails.
I'm reading them all. Low on my laptop.
I'm forwarding them all to myself right now so I can talk to Chad about it when I see them.
Okay, so we won't go to each one. All right.
Got a little window into Fred's soul right there. He's pick and choosing the negative
No,
ones.
I'm reading them all. Okay. So Evan.
Yes.
We have back of the envelope,
we got
guys.
it. Good.
Back of the
to
envelope.
more important matters.
He hasn't shared them with me because he wanted to get your authentic
love it.
reaction.
I
Do you
love
want to
it.
start off with your other question for Evan that you
Oh
have?
yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking about mock drafts,
Yes.
and
Mike Vrabel said that they're doing mock drafts right now.
sure.
Yeah.
Why do you think they do mock drafts?
Same reason anybody does them. I think that they're trying to go through different scenarios so that on Thursday night they're not caught in a situation that they haven't prepared for. So they go through let's say they think that there's 20 different ways that this draft could go, so let's run through it.
So so the way they do it is, like you said, to prepare for any scenario.
Yeah, they don't want to be caught unprepared, obviously.
And the idea is they hope to be as accurate as possible.
Yes.
Why do you think draft nicks like yourself do mock draft? What's the goal other than just getting clicks? What's the goal of doing a mock draft?
Certainly the number one goal is getting clicks. I would say
Good honesty.
I think it's a combination of doing the same sort of thing of trying to figure out how the board is going to shake out. I also think that it's good in terms of I'll read them a lot more to see what other teams are doing ahead of the Patriots, so I can maybe figure out who's going to be left for the Patriots at 31. Team needs. I think a lot of people probably center their mock draft picks around, what each team needs, at the top. And, someone that covers just the Patriots, it's sometimes harder to know what all 31 other teams are thinking and planning for the draft. So those are good strategies for that. But mostly I would say it's just knowing who are the 32 guys that everybody kind of expects to go in the first round.
Would you say that one of the goals is to see how accurate you can be?
Oh, 100%. That's always the goal, right? I mean, you want to at least have some sort of semblance of accuracy.
So you come out with a mock draft, and then, maybe based on information that you've got, you might tweak it.
Yes.
Right? Tweak it.
Yes.
So what then is the purpose of coming out with a mock draft 2.0 or 3.0 that's totally different?
So I think that I'll give you a couple of examples. One, I look at the Patriots draft plans right now, and I think the most likely scenario is that they're either going to draft an edge rusher or a tackle in the first round, offensive tackle. So I did one mock draft where they took the tackle, and I did one mock draft where they took the edge rusher, because then obviously your next, 10 picks are going to change based off of what pick you took in the first. So it kind of just changes the order in which you attack things. If you take the edge rusher in the first round versus the tackle, obviously there's new information. Like we did a mock draft video, Deuce and I, last week, where we both took receivers pretty high. Deuce took Denzel Boston in the first round. Well, yesterday, Adam Schefter reported that A.J. Brown's
Right. So that changes things.
basically
Yeah.
a Patriot.
Yeah.
So if I did a mock draft 2 weeks ago where they took Denzel Boston at 31, and now Adam Schefter is telling me that A.J. Brown is basically a Patriot already, then I probably am going to change the fact that they're going to take a
that's
receiver.
fair
that
enough.
high.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I just don't understand where some people do totally different mock drafts just to do them, and
I think it's
like,
just
so
playing through
my question
scenarios.
is, all right, so which one are you standing by? Which
Sure.
which version of your draft do you think is what's going to happen?
Yeah. So I try to approach it. Well, first of all, I would say for both, I don't want to speak for him, but for both Deuce and I, our big boards is like kind of our thing, right? So like if I had to say what's my like board of record, if like I get something right, I would say getting guys that they drafted right on the big boards, not the mock drafts we just do because
Yeah,
they
well, you have
perform
50
well.
guys on your big board.
We did.
Yeah.
So you want to get like, I think you want to get at least 3.
Yeah.
If you get 4 or 5, then you do pretty well.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just curious.
Yeah, no, it's fair. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the number one thing is that people read them.
Oh yeah.
Like
sure.
it's a simple. I'm not trying to.
Yeah. I'm not saying don't do mock drafts. I just, the 2.0, 3.0, like, are you trying to be right or are you just covering every base?
I think you're trying to cover every base, and you're trying to go through different scenarios. Like I said, this draft I'm going to take a tackle in the first round. This
Right.
draft I'm going to take an edge rusher in the
Right.
first round, and here's how the rest of the draft will
Right.
play out.
Well, so then if one of your mock drafts is more accurate than another, do you take credit for being right? Like if you have 10 mock drafts out there, like
Yeah.
which one do you take credit for?
I think the final. You got to go with the final.
The final one.
The final one is what you think.
Okay.
You really think is
Okay.
going to
All
happen.
right.
If you're a mock draft, we
Okay.
only did 2. Like we
Okay.
try not to do too many of them.
All right.
Yeah, the final one.
All right. So that's my mock draft. Now, Dane Brugler has his top 100.
Let's get to the real.
I noticed that in his top 100,
Yes.
34 of his top 100 are either wide receivers or edge.
Yeah, it's a lot of them.
That tells you right there what he thinks of this draft.
Yeah, the edge rushers is, I think the interesting thing, and Vrabel's mentioned this in the scrum after the statement today, there's a lot of different variables with the edge rushers. There's different body types, shapes, sizes, some guys are 20, some guys are 25, age-wise. So it's a lot of different variables that aren't necessarily let's grade the tape. It's, well, do we want, Elliot Wolf mentioned speed off the edge last week. Like, do you want speed? Do you want power? Do you want size? Do you not like guys that are a little bit older, and a little bit lower ceiling because of their age? Like all these different variables that go into it, I think makes it hard when there's such a deep class like this.
Okay. All right. So I did my back of the envelope.
Yes.
Now, all these guys, they cannot be in anyone's top 100. That was sort of the rule I had for myself. Like,
Okay.
they have to be true back of the
true
envelope.
sleepers.
True sleepers,
Yeah.
or maybe steals for whatever reason. And I only focused on 4 positions. I did wide receiver, tight end, offensive tackle, and I threw in a linebacker. I didn't do edge because I'm going to let Deuce handle the edges.
I'm going to guess I never heard of any of these guys.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to.
No, I think you might have.
Oh,
Okay, so let's.
I'm going to be disappointed in you
I
if
mean,
you haven't heard them.
pretty deep.
So I did a couple wide receivers.
Okay.
All right. The first guy is his name is Colby Young.
Yeah, from Georgia.
Yep, 6'4", ran a 4.5, so he's not a huge burner. Missed 6 games because he had a fibula. But
broken one.
I think he's got a lot of talent. He has some off-field stuff though,
He does.
so that could drop him a little bit. And the fact that he missed some games, but I think that like he's able to recognize a good route, sitting in zones. He gets open. He's got good hands. Obviously, he's got good size at 6'4". So I think this is a guy who you might be able to get in the 4th or 5th round.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, height, weight, speed guy for sure. He's big dude, good speed, got those long strides, builds up speed over the course of the route. You can see him using his size and his ability to kind of just, play basketball with guys and just post up and go above the rim and win the ball down the field. He has some sinking cut ability for a taller guy.
Yep.
You mentioned the red flags. He's got injury history. He's got some off-field things. If that stuff didn't happen, then maybe we're talking about him as a top 100 guy.
Yep.
But it did. So he's a day 3 prospect. But if you're looking for a guy that you're just willing to bet, it's not totally apples to apples, but a little Javon Baker-ish. If you think you can be the right team for him and the right fit, culture-wise, then he's got the talent of a player that should have been drafted higher.
So the other guy kind of falls in that same bucket. He's out of TCU, Eric McAllister.
Yeah, oh, yeah. This one's okay, go ahead.
So,
You like
6'4".
him or
We've got a lot of problems with
Yeah,
this
he
guy.
has a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But I think if you get him in the right place, I think he wants to play football.
Good start.
When Fred had him in for a 30 visit,
Yeah.
he thought football was important to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like with all those problems, he had a lot of production last year. This
He
guy
did.
had over 1,100 yards, 72 catches, 10 touchdowns. He produces. He's got talent. If we can get his head right, I think this guy could be a steal.
100%. There's no doubt about it. Another big body guy, outside receiver, has, good tape against good competition. There were multiple off the field red flags with him with the law.
Yeah, he had
Assault with a deadly weapon, I believe,
now,
was one of
but
them.
but she dropped that one, I think.
She did.
Yeah. But there was a couple, yeah. So it's not just
big,
one.
Big
Yep.
character
Yeah.
guy. I think Dane had him as like maybe a 6th or 7th round pick. He's certainly more talented than that. I don't know if he's going to get drafted because the teams are going to have to feel really good about him off the field.
So that's 2 wide receivers. So
Yeah.
then tight end. I got a couple tight ends for you. Tanner Koziel out of Houston.
Yep.
Big 6'6", little thin for 6'6", 247, 4'7", not bad for that size, right?
Yep.
I looked at him. He's a good ball catcher. He's not a blocker
Yes.
yet, anyway. And by the way, most of these tight ends, it's the same thing. Decent catcher, needs development. There's only like one guy that I read about who is a block first tight end that's like worth talking about.
Yeah, there's usually it's definitely one or the other. In a lot of instances in this class, you're either a pure blocking tight end or you're a pure receiving tight end.
Yeah.
Obviously, the guys that are well-rounded are Tyler Warren, and they go in the top 15 of the draft, right? So that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, so this guy, I like his size. He is a good catcher. He
Yeah.
wants to block. He's just not that good at it. Like, it's
Yeah.
not like he won't block. Like, he's just not that great a blocker. So maybe with some coaching, but he's another guy that had decent production last year.
Yeah.
74 catches, over 700 yards.
Yeah, one of the I would say maybe the best hands in the entire tight end class. Like guy has really, really good ball skills. Like can really catch the football, catch it in traffic, combat catches, one-on-one catches, back shoulders, high point the ball, catches everything thrown in his direction. Has a little bit of, I would say, just overall play strength concerns, whether it's blocking, carving out space for himself, winning at the top of the route. His game kind of reminds me a little bit of Mike Gesicki, like day 3 Mike Gesicki. He's probably not going to block for you, but a guy that can catch the football and make some plays in the passing game. Had a really good game against LSU.
Yeah.
So Houston's not a big time.
We talked about Drake May, and like maybe he prefers the bigger targets. So this guy certainly falls into that category.
Yep. I think he'll probably be a pretty good red zone player
Yep.
for you as well, just because you can kind of get him one-on-one and throw him the ball up to him. Yeah.
Now, the next guy I don't think Paul's going to like because I think he's a try-hard guy. Jack Velling, Michigan State.
That one I'm not as familiar with.
6'4", 245.
Wow.
4.75. What I like about him is he's another guy that wants to block, just needs some work. But everything I read, he's got a really high football IQ. So worst case, he'll be probably a good he'll be special teams or whatever. But he's a smart football player, is what the coaches say.
Stump me
So-
with that one.
So
There you go.
yeah, Jack Velling, Michigan
It usually
State.
stumps me with like one
Yeah.
or two. I'm like,
So
no,
so take a look at him.
Yeah, gonna take a look at him.
Then I got a couple I have 3 OTs
Okay.
that I picked. Now these,
It's not a deep class. so
yeah,
you
with
run out.
offensive tackle, it's a little weird. One I did for obvious reasons, and I'll get to him last. But the first one, Isaiah World out of Oregon.
Yeah, too bad.
What?
Blew his knee out.
Yeah. So
So that
he
stinks.
does have the bad knee. He had
Yeah.
the ACL. He might have left tackle potential. They say.
Yes.
6'5", 318.
By they, you mean Dane?
Yeah.
Oh.
No.
Our
Our lads maybe said that. So what I do is I first go to our lads, then I go to Dane to see what he has. Then I look at highlights.
Nice.
So I
I
don't
like this
see
process.
Yeah,
I like to
it's
know
not
the
a-
process.
It's not a bad
I
process.
don't see the all 22. I'm not watching. Oh, how did he
No,
do
I-
against LSU?
I do a
you
lot
know?
of that
Yeah.
same kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. But 34 over 34-inch arm span.
Yep.
So if you want to take he could probably go in the 4th round. You could probably get him.
Yeah. So it depends on the injury. So he blew out his knee in the college football playoff. So it was late in the season.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because I think we would have been talking about Isaiah World for the Patriots in like the 3rd or 4th round, like maybe even as soon as 95, if that hadn't happened. So talented kid, has all the measurables, a bigger guy to me, like casts a wide net, somebody that can absorb power and pass protect pretty well. Like I said, I think that he would have been, him, Markel Bell, Travis Burke, like all these guys that we talk about in that 3rd or 4th round range for the Patriots. Isaiah World, talent-wise, is right there. I don't know where teams will draft him because he's going to have to redshirt his rookie season.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to play as a rookie because of the knee.
All right. So then another guy, local guy, went to BC, Jude Bowery, 6'5", 314.
Now he's talking my language.
Yeah. Now, I guess they say he plays too high sometimes, but he's another guy that might have left tackle potential.
Yep.
But obviously, I'd like to get him in here and see if he can play right tackle.
Yeah, I think he can play both tackle spots. Really explosive player. I think he's one of those guys that
I
can,
like BC linemen.
that can really get out of his stance. Both him and Logan Taylor are 2 guys that I think are going to get drafted pretty high from Boston College. He is working with the GOAT, Dante Scarnecchia, this offseason. Both of them are. And Bowery, I think really right now is working on his punch. His punch is a little bit predictable and a little bit weak outside hand. Had a little bit of issues, especially against T.J. Parker and Clemson, with protecting his outside edge, guys just powering right through his punch. So he's got to work on that. But the foot speed, the athleticism, the body control, all of that is there to be a really, really good blocker on the move. Especially, he can really get out and out in space and block.
So I got 2 more players overall, 1 more tackle, and this guy I picked because of his pedigree, but also because of his nastiness. This guy's a nasty player, and I think you know who I'm talking
Well,
about.
there's a couple. So
Nolan Rucci, Penn State.
Yes. Okay. That was,
Obviously, the
He's
son of Todd
Todd's
Rucci.
son?
Todd
Yes.
used to be a player here, good player, played for Bill
Penn
Parcells.
State guy too.
Yep. 6'8", 310. A little thin for 6'8", but like work ethic out of the park. Like this guy, and he knows football. He works hard. I think he's because of that very coachable. I think you get him in here and you've got yourself a player.
Yeah, so him and Vega Oyane. Vega's going to go in the 1st round, right? Like, he's going to be a top 20 player. But they like to mix it up. Like they like to finish. They like to get after it. You can see it with both those guys. Someone's going to draft him because they were watching Oyane and they said, "Well, we can't get Oyane.
happens.
It's
Yeah.
he's going to go too high." But we really like this other kid too, and someone will take him on day 3 and they'll get a player.
Yeah. So keep your eyes open for Nolan Rucci.
I like that one, Freddie.
Yeah.
I like the Rucci one.
Okay. And then finally,
lines.
I always like to have a linebacker. I'm very accurate with my linebackers. There weren't there weren't a lot of, again, and I told Paul this, I didn't have any pound the table guys this year.
No Lad
Like
McConkeys.
anywhere, really. No Justin Jeffersons.
No
this year.
Slade Boldens.
Yeah. But here's a late round guy, a linebacker, Xavier Sari Jr. from Arkansas, 6'2", 228, runs a 4.6. He's obviously a very developmental player, probably will be on your special teams, whoever he gets drafted, if he gets drafted. But he's got a violent knack to him. And people have said that to him, like, there's a violence in your game. And he smiles whenever he wants to be known as a violent player. And
Yeah.
obviously that's a word that Vrabel uses a lot. So I figured, okay, that's a match.
Yeah, I think there's a couple guys at linebacker at the end of the draft that are probably profiled mainly as special teamers. But when I know KJ Britt's going to play some special teams, but Jack Gibbons is gone, Jelani Tavai is gone, Marte Mapu is gone. 3 guys that played a lot in the kicking game for the Patriots last year. So if they do end up double dipping, I think your guy's probably not going to project as like a starting linebacker in the league, right? So I think they probably need somebody a little bit earlier to do that. But if they end up double dipping, then maybe some of these guys at the back end of the draft could be core special teamers / fourth linebackers, guys like that, kind of like what they got last year out of Mapu, which, they need.
All right. So that's my back of the envelope for
like it.
2026. We'll keep it on hand.
I
and
like it, Freddie.
When we get close,
Good research.
I'll bang the table for these guys. All right. The phone lines are truly stacked, but we're going to stop because I'm going to eat. And then we'll talk about what you have to say. Do you have a back of the envelope person? Do you have any information that you want to share with us? We'll get to all that right after this.
Come welcome our newest restaurant additions at Patriot Place. Estella brings a celebration of flavors with a modern fusion menu, exciting cocktails, and brunch available daily beginning at 11 a.m. Enjoy freshly brewed coffee and Mediterranean-inspired breakfast and lunch from Angel's Cafe. Craving the classics? Chick-fil-A makes it easy to grab your favorite with mobile through, carry-out, and dine-in options. Download the Patriot Place Advantage app for special offers and to earn rewards every time you visit. Patriot Place. Shop, dine, enjoy.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
Whether you're in the game or betting on the game, you'll need a game plan. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the New England Patriots, provides you with everything you need to build your personal betting game plan so you can get in on all the action while practicing safe bets. Visit DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming to learn more about all the safe betting tools DraftKings has to offer. Hope is here, 800-327-5050 or gamblinghelplinema.org. Must be 21 plus. Play it smart from the start. GameSenseMA.com. Physically present in Massachusetts. See DraftKings.com/responsible-gaming for details and state-specific responsible gambling resources.
Isn't it time to get exactly what you want? Welcome to Red Hot Deal Days from Verizon, where you get your pick of our best deals. Like My Plan, where you can pick the perks you want and save on every one. For limited time, bring your own phones to a Verizon store and you can get My Plan for our best price ever. Get exactly what you want in your phone plan and only pay for what you need. Bring your phones to your Verizon store today and get My Plan. These deals won't last. It's your Verizon.
If you're gonna play the game, boy, you gotta learn to play it right.
DraftKings is all about responsible gaming. It's more fun when it's for fun. So play responsibly. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction.
What is your sense of who's going to be there when you're picking on 31?
I think the right guy will be there. No, I don't. That's a Tim Terry, who I used to work with in Green Bay, used to say that all the time. I think it's tough to predict. Like, if you just go look at the board right now and just say, hey, who are the 30 names that are not going to be there? Like, it's pretty difficult. So we'll just kind of, continue to gather information and continue to evaluate and explore options, whether that's going up, going back, whatever the case may be.
Do you think that you guys have improved this team from the one that walked off the field at the Super Bowl to this point in the offseason?
Yeah, I think so. With some of the free agent moves that we've done, primarily that, because we haven't done a lot of other things, but yeah, I think so. And then we'll continue to supplement it. We've definitely increased our flexibility in terms of like what exactly the needs, again, the needs on paper are just for this year. But yeah, I think we've improved.
Well, you have, between age of some starters, expiring contracts or ballooning payments, and the drafts previous to last year, which was great, which didn't really yield a lot. You might have a lot of depth issues. Are you looking at really, we'll concentrate on the first 4 picks, but kind of could use all 11 to take your shots and build depth at different positions?
Yeah, I think depth is important, obviously. I think the more picks that you have, the better chances you have of hitting on players. It puts, like we have 4 6s right now. If we had 1 6, it probably puts more pressure on that player to, or push more pressure on us to have that player be successful. But yeah, no, I think every team is different in terms of where the depth is. I think we have depth at some positions and would like to improve depth at others, and I don't think that's unique.
Like, what do you like to see from here to the draft, as far as you mentioned it's not finalized? What conversations do you like to have so that when you get ready to go here, you're good to go and A, B, C, D, E, F?
Yeah, really, I would say kind of combining information. Like we have 4 players here today on pre-draft visits, and just making sure, getting with the coaches and seeing how those went. We Zoom, or the coaches Zoom a lot of players to try to get a feel for them. How did this guy fit into my room? Is he going to be able to learn multiple positions? Is he just going to be a one position guy, year one? And just kind of continuing to compile all that information and make sure that we're drafting the guys that are going to have the best chance to succeed.
Question about a couple of veterans. Any updates on where things stand with Christian Gonzalez? And are you guys keeping the door open with the Eagles for A.J. Brown?
No Gonzalez update, other than I'll continue to publicly say that we want Christian here. And again, he's under contract, so we would expect that. But as far as players on other teams, again, going to keep the door open to anything that we think may improve our roster, whether that's with the player you mentioned or other players.
There's a report that this year might be more of a trade-heavy draft. Is that something that you already have sensed, or do you feel like that could
Yeah, I mean, I think that can sometimes be tough to predict. There's always waves within a draft. Like I think it was maybe the 6th round last year. There was like a rush of trades. Like 4 right in a row. I don't know how people know that. Like I don't know if the report that you saw was more first round. Like maybe it's true for the first round. I've already heard that no one's called us yet. But I've already heard that there's teams that have been calling around looking to move up, kind of more in the front end of the draft. But I think we'll just kind of continue to monitor it and see what happens.
Elliot, how involved has Mike been in the pre-draft meetings over the course of last week?
Very involved. I mean, business as usual. He's been in there. I would say he's been in there with us probably. But this round of meetings probably a little bit more than he was last year, just because I know there's the coaching staff. He's probably more comfortable. This is me putting words in his mouth. Probably more comfortable, just where things stand from that standpoint. But he's been in there. He's been contributing. He's watched a ton of the players. I think he tries to watch every player that, like, we give each position coach. He watches that whole, they call it the coaches list. And so he has an opinion on these guys, and it's helpful. And because sometimes there's players that the scouts like, me included, and he'll be like, well, this is the reason that maybe this guy's not the best fit for us. And so, we can, again, continue to compile all the information together.
You ran down some of the positions in the draft earlier. You mentioned at the combine looking at a linebacker in the draft. Just what are your thoughts on that position as a whole in this year's class?
Yeah, I think it's solid. I think it's probably a little bit similar to the way it was last year. Maybe for me, at least, I thought it was going to be a little bit better than maybe that's come out, but I do think it's a good position day 3 from a depth standpoint. I think there's a lot of players that you could justify using a day 3 pick on.
You mentioned the 30 visits, having players in. Do you max out on those? And how important are those to you when you ultimately turn in the card?
Yeah, we'll use all 30, and plus, because you get to, we get BC and UConn, and some of those guys that didn't come in for local day have come in, separately. It's very important, and we bring guys in for a variety of reasons. Whether it's to get medical, to get them in front of Mike. If it's a guy we like that doesn't have a lot of red flags, like, hey, Mike's gonna love this guy. We do some of that. Don't tell Mike that. And then if there's some questions about the character, or their learning, or the fit, or the position fit, or again, like one that I mentioned earlier, like we think this guy is definitely going to be able to play X receiver, but we want to bring him in and make sure that we think he can, play multiple spots, and how early could that be? So there's a variety of reasons that we bring guys in, and they've been great this year. I mean, we haven't eliminated anyone as we've done in the past, so it's been positive.
What are the analytics? How do they play in what you do, and how have you continued over the years to have the numbers come in?
Yeah.
With what you've got?
Yeah, so we hired Max Mullets, who was previous with the Dolphins, and he's working in conjunction with the personnel department, and he's been in all of our meetings, and he's been great. Every player has a profile. The thing I like particularly about Max is he's not so married to the data that he can't, we'll retort him and say, well, what about this? And he has enough common sense to be like, well, yeah, that makes sense as a reason that the model gives this projection. Let me adjust it a little bit. So it's been pretty cool to kind of integrate that into our process. And really, like anything, it helps with outliers. If he's got a model that says the guy should be a 4th rounder and all of us have him in the 7th round, to me, that is cause for us to go back and ask questions. Why is that the case? Do we need to sit down and watch more film on this guy? And to me, that's the role. It's to help you get as much information as you can to make the right decisions.
Billy, what you guys have on the edge, you talked at the combine about how that's a position of need for you guys. You've signed Draymond Jones.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like there's some different body types, though, in this year's draft class at that position.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer for what you have right now in terms of complementing what you have? Do you feel like you need that smaller, faster guy might be better on 3rd down, or better to have the bigger body?
Oh, I never want a smaller guy. No, faster guy. I said I never want a smaller guy. No, yeah, we could complement our room with some speed. I think that's evident. Draymond and Harold and Elijah and some of the other guys we have, they all have their skill sets. We would like to get faster. Draymond's a guy that can play across the line, run games. I mean, he can sneaky beat you with speed, but that's probably not his bread and butter. And so, that's an area that we're looking to try to improve the depth on the roster.
And now, great moments in history.
I'm going to push back here on everybody. What does everybody have against Robbie Anderson?
He's never made an important catch in his career.
Like against us, he's done well.
When?
Oh, I remember games.
Here we go. Andy Isabella,
Don't
part
make
2.
Don't make me go to my phone.
Oh, go.
Deuce, you have a computer there.
You wouldn't know the answer to this.
He's a thoroughly average player who is...
He's like a David Givens type, isn't he?
Yeah, I have no interest in David Givens right now. Either.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, right now, no, but... Yeah.
They need a number 1 receiver. David Givens isn't that.
No, and I don't think Robbie Anderson is either.
No.
But
that's why I'm not interested.
Okay.
I got 3 of those.
But he's not going to get number 1 money, is he?
Of course he is.
You think so?
That's what he makes. Why do you think he's on the block?
Okay.
So you guys want to hear about
Thanks
Robbie
for the
Anderson?
kind words.
Yeah. Please do, because I have them.
Prolific career.
There was one reasonably good game.
There was one reasonably good game where he was targeted 12 times and had 4 catches for 76 yards.
That is the apex.
Ready? Here we go. 2 for 34, none for none, 1 for 2. 3 for 24, 3 for 11, 1 for 10, and 1 for 2. He is 0-9 career against the Patriots.
Man.
He's had...
Maybe I'm thinking of Wayne Corbett.
That's another great moment from
All right, back here in Patriots Unfiltered. 855-PATS-500 is the hotline. Podcast at patriots.com. The phone lines are stacked, but we do have the tape of Mike Vrabel giving his statement. So can we go to that just so everyone can see it for themselves?
Let me first begin by saying thank you. Thank you for your patience that you've shown in a personal and private matter for me and obviously everybody involved. I know that that's not easy for you, and I respect that, and I appreciate your efforts in doing so. I understand I could have, addressed you guys sooner, but it was important to me to have a conversation with the players, which I did yesterday, very candidly, as we began our off-season program, which everyone is excited to be a part of. Stacy had mentioned the players' availability, and it was never my intention to have them speak to you or address you before I did. And so I asked him to come today and to talk with you. I also don't want to take away from our, the draft, the weekend of the draft. This is an important time for us and our organization, and the excitement and the joy that those players are going to have that we bring onto our football team. They're starting an amazing journey, one that should be celebrated as we welcome them onto our team. With that being said, I've had some difficult conversations with people that I care about, with my family, the organization, the coaches, the players, Those have been positive and productive. We believe in order to be successful on and off the field, you have to make good decisions. That includes me. That starts with me. We never want our actions to negatively affect the team. We never want to be the cause of a distraction. And those are comments and questions that I've answered for the team and with the team. We'll keep those private and, to ourselves. Care deeply about this football team, and I'm excited to coach them. I also know that I'm going to attack each day with humility and focus. And what I can promise you is that my family, this organization, the team, the staff, the coaches, everybody, our fans, most importantly, will get the best version of me going forward. And that's what I know, and I'm excited to do that. But I wanted to just address this and thank you for your patience in dealing with the private and personal matter. Thank you.
So there you go. Mike Vrabel, from his own mouth to your ears. Do with it what you want, but that's it. That's it firsthand.
Yeah, Ev, I would say good job. Good summation.
Thank you.
That was an accurate, in my opinion, what you said was a very accurate portrayal of what Mike said.
Yep.
Having seen it now.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah,
So, but it's almost like you wrote it, Paul, because you were talking about.
He hit a lot of my buzzwords.
Yeah, dealing it before the players had to deal with it, dealing it before the draft so that it didn't take away from the draft and the excitement of those guys being drafted. All those things are common sense, and they did the common sense thing.
I had mentioned that last week, and Matt Smith was just in here a little while ago, and he said the same thing. Matt was getting ready. We were getting ready to do All Access. Mike Reese is here. And I think Mike was the first one of us that came up with today as the possibility, and we all sort of started talking in those terms. Don't take away from the draft. Don't make your players have to speak for you. Make sure you address the play. It doesn't matter what he says to us, but it does matter what he says to the players. And I think Mike just sort of hit on all of those things.
Yeah.
I thought he did a nice job.
Yep.
Not an easy situation.
It wasn't an easy situation, and I think the players aspect of it, I think, is important because he's the leader of the team, both as the head coach, but also just the personality that he is.
Right.
And I think if we had gotten just hypothetically the captains, Robert Spillane, Hunter Henry, whoever today, and then they had to field questions about this matter before Mike had even talked about it on his own. I don't, that doesn't jive with what I've observed of him as a person or as a coach. So I wasn't surprised that he stepped up to the mic today. I thought that it was important to not send the players out there first.
Yep.
And I always think that with a lot of these, even football things, like when you have a bad loss, I always think it's odd that if the coach goes after play, like the coach, it starts and ends with the coach,
Yep.
In all walks of the football team.
Yep. So I like that old quote. I think it was Paul Brown, but he always said that, when things are bad, when things are good, we did it. When things are great, they did it. And when things are bad, I did it.
That is a Paul Brownism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to some of the phone calls. They're all stacked up. But one thing Zach in Connecticut wants to know is, what will I be wearing for the draft?
It's a good question.
Will I have a suit on, or what the deal is? I don't know. With my leg the way it is, I don't feel like dressing up.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling very sexy.
But you didn't dress up last year, right? That was 2 years ago. You put the tux on.
Yeah, I had
Drake
a tux
May,
on.
right?
That was
huge. Drake May.
Yeah, that was Drake May draft.
Drake May.
Last year, I think I just might have had a
May.
Patriots shirt on or something like that.
Yeah, I was wondering that, though, because last year I think I dressed up and I was the only one, so that looked kind of silly.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, I won't be dressed up.
I know you won't dress up, but I don't.
Well, you have all your hits that you have to do, so I mean,
You have a lot of hits Thursday?
Not as many
Barthy?
this year.
Barthy?
Not well. So the issue is it the Bruins or the Celtics? One of the teams is playing on Thursday night.
They both play, no?
So no, one of them plays Thursday, one of them plays Friday. So the Sports Hub is airing the game instead of draft coverage.
That answers our question.
Right. Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to be really dressing to the nines
I think I'm just gonna do button down quarter zip combo myself, Paul.
Yeah.
You know.
Good.
Yeah, like split the difference.
What's the matter? You can't get the mouse to work over there?
Can't get the RFID to work.
So maybe Matt can. Who do you want to call up? Zach in New Hampshire?
No, let's call Daniel in New Hampshire. He's the first one. Daniel in New Hampshire. What's up, Daniel?
Actually, Zach has been waiting
What's
for
going
an
on,
hour and
gentlemen?
13
Hope you guys
minutes.
are doing well. Just before, I got a couple of questions, but just before that, my audio is completely fine. I don't know what other people are talking about, but you guys sound the same as you always have.
Okay.
First, I wanted to say, Fred, back to the beginning of the show, I agree with you. I think people doing multiple mock drafts is silly. Kind of reminds me of when people are in 10 different fantasy leagues, and in one league you're rooting for Patrick Mahomes, and another you're rooting against him, and I just stick to one.
It's
get
just
it right,
content.
Get it wrong.
It's just
Yep. Yep. I hear you.
Secondly, I'm just going to assume that A.J. Brown's going to be here in the fall. I absolutely love it. I think that's what Drake May needs. This team has historically not drafted receivers well. I mean, just thinking back to Mac Jones, who I don't even know who his best receiver was in his time here. So I think with A.J. Brown, I think that'll help Drake May a lot. And kind of going off of that, I think they should try and use that with A.J. Brown or Mac Hollins or other guys in the room to kind of, Fred, I know you love him, develop Chisholm and maybe even Kyle Williams, because with Kyle Williams' speed, I mean, you can't teach that.
Nope.
That's next level.
Yep.
But thank you guys. Enjoy the draft, and I'll take it off the air.
Thanks, Daniel. They're showing Josh Allen doing a press conference up at their facility in Buffalo, and he's wearing a Buffalo Sabres hat and shirt. So now the Bruins have to win. The Bruins have to win. We cannot let Buffalo beat us.
I think Buffalo's going to beat us.
You think they are?
I mean, they thoroughly outplayed them in game one.
Well, we were up like 2-0.
If you watched,
Did you watch the game?
Yeah.
No.
It wasn't a fluke that they gave up 4 goals in the last 8 minutes.
really?
Let's just put it that way.
Just an onslaught?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole game was an onslaught. It was like they were on a power
Are
play
we
the whole
supposed to be
game.
better than them?
No.
No. Other way around.
All right. So Buffalo's actually good for once?
They were in
Yeah.
position to steal the game.
Yeah.
The Bruins were, and ultimately they were 8 minutes away from doing it. But
Good way to put it.
I agree with.
It was a
I agree with
classic
Ev.
underdog goalie standing on his head.
Swayman was tremendous.
Trying to steal a game that they didn't deserve to win, and the dam broke.
Okay.
That's your Bruins minute. I
Um,
was very upset about it. The next morning, I woke up on Monday morning. I looked over at Jess. I was like, I can't believe that freaking happened. And we were both upset.
Yeah, win tonight, and it's a series.
Tough.
Zach's in New Hampshire. What's up, Zach?
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I was just wondering if the A.J. Brown stuff is true, they're probably going to go edge in round one, I would assume. Who are your favorite second-round prospects?
At the
For
edge?
what position?
Just in general, I think.
Just
you mean.
any, especially not, receiver. If they're
So you think they're going to take edge in first round. Who do you think they take in the second round?
That's
Yeah,
interesting
yeah.
because I
Okay.
don't know if there's going to be any tackles worthy of taking, at the end of the second round.
There isn't.
I think the cutoff is before that. So that's another part of the whole mock draft, getting back to the thing that Fred was talking to you about, Ev. Do you take a tackle because you look ahead and say, well, Mahanichor or someone like that is much better than the next tackle, as opposed to, an R. Mason Thomas might not be that much different than a Cassius Howell, and maybe I don't know if you can get, maybe both of those guys wouldn't be available at 60, whatever, 63. But
63, no.
I'm just throwing names
Yeah,
out there.
Derek
There
Moore,
might be
Gabe
a smaller
Jack
gap
is
between the next guys.
Carmelo Hyde.
Yeah.
DDS, whatever. Yeah, that's how I see the board, is that the tackle is the gap, right? The talent gap at tackle is bigger than the talent gap at edge. But I think you could make a better case that the edge rusher is the more immediate need. So if you're just looking to draft the player at 31 that's going to make the biggest immediate impact on the football team, it's definitely an edge rusher over a tackle, because the tackle's going to sit. The tackle's going to sit behind Morgan Moses.
I mean, ideally.
For
That's
maybe,
if things go the way you want it to, the tackle sits.
yeah, for maybe the entire year.
Right.
So I look at it that way in terms of immediate impact, but in terms of round two, like who are some of my favorite prospects, I think it gets much harder if you go edge round one with that because of the dearth of tackles. There aren't a lot of them. So maybe they end up going tight end at 63 instead of wide receiver. Maybe it's a guy
I like tight end.
Max Clare or Delp or Stowers or someone like that. And, you're still adding a weapon to the offense, but he's just a tight end instead of a receiver.
Okay.
I like Max Clare a little bit.
I had him today in my final mock because I don't feel like we're talking enough about him in this group.
Fred, you're not talking enough about Max Clare.
When it comes to the tight ends, I feel like we've talked
he just smirks
a lot about Stowers, Delp, Roush. Like those three guys.
So there's a lot of mixed opinions on Delp.
Yes. Well,
A lot of people think he's like an H-back.
Right.
I don't know about that, but mixed opinions are stemming from the lack of college production.
Lack of college, and just like he's not worthy of being, a first, even first 2-day pick.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that.
Well, you haven't read our lads.
That's because they're, no.
Well, yeah.
Why are we reading that?
Yeah, our lads, he's in the back of their book. Yeah.
I feel like they tend to do their work earlier in the draft process and before the draft industrial complex really
maybe
gets guy because they seem to have their rankings. I tend to like Delp in January was considered like a 3rd or 4th round pick for most people. And
I know they have a big presence at the college all-star games.
Right, which is January. So like when this started, I would say Delp was probably a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
Then you go through the combine, you go through his pro day, and then all of a sudden the buzz increases, and now he's a top 100 guy.
Dane has him third round.
Yeah, he's a top 100 guy for sure.
I don't love Delp. I'll be honest with you. If you're gonna take like sort of like that smaller, pass catching guy, like is it Stowers or Stowers?
Stowers, but I don't
I
look
like
at them.
him more.
I don't look at them as similar. Delp can block a lot better than Stowers.
Can he?
Yeah,
I don't like
mean,
him. I'll take your word for it. You
Yeah.
certainly do way
lot-
more
a
research
lot
on this
more.
than I do.
Yeah, Stowers is a
you don't-
pure
you don't have to
pass
get, You don't have
catcher.
to get mean about it.
Yeah.
I gave you your props. I gave you your flowers.
I'm
I
not
said you
getting.
do-
I'm not
you
getting
do more,
mean
You
about
do more
it.
work on this stuff
I'm
than
just-
I do. Fred, you know where I'm going to come back with. I watch the games.
Right. I base it on when they play.
and I like Stowers, and I don't really like Delp all that much.
A lot of people do.
Steve says I'm most likely to wear brawn panties on Thursday. I don't know why that comes from.
Yeah, that's uncalled for.
I don't like that word.
Like, what are you insinuating?
I'm not a fan of that word.
Yeah, you don't like the word panties?
No, that's weird.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Zach. He's been holding on ever since. Let's go to Eldred in North Carolina. What wide receiver should the Patriots take, Eldred?
Well, I'm going to stick by him just like I did last year with T-Mac, and everybody laughed. But see what happened to T-Mac and Hunter, right? So I'm just going to stick with Brazel. But
Brazel,
since we're getting
okay.
since we're getting AJ, I'm pretty sure they ain't going to draft him at 31, but I would move up, get him in the 2nd round, because you do need a backup for Brown if they're going to get rid of Booty. And Mac Hollins should have been gone because of his age. That's why I look at it. But that's the way they do things. But I just hope, like I said, Thursday come, I have my pom-pom ready. We get Browser, I'll jump up and down at 31, but we won't. But if they move up in the 2nd round and get him, they'll be fine. He ain't going to be there for 96. I don't care what Dan Brule says. He's not going to be there.
All right.
Okay. You have a good one.
All right. Thanks, Eldred.
Thanks, Big E.
Chris with a TIAN. What's up, Christian?
Hey, Freddie.
Hey.
Hopefully you have a quick heal with that leg. So
Thank you.
Get back up and running. But of course you don't miss a day. You're the man. The man doesn't miss a day. You set the tone.
By the way, Christian.
Paulie.
But
yes, sir.
I was in Disney World, and I made my own lightsaber at Savvy's workshop. Have you heard about that?
Oh, I always wanted to do that.
It's really cool.
Such a dork.
It's a great experience. It's awesome.
My cousin did it, and it's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So on May 4th, I'll be bringing my lightsaber in.
Love it.
I'm gonna bring it in.
It's pretty cool.
that's
May
great. I can't
4th.
wait to do
Thank
it.
God
Can't
I'll
wait
be
to
in
see
Italy.
it. That's great.
Yeah. You'll be in Italy?
Humble
May
brag.
4th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going to Italy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Going to
Going to
another
motherland.
Okay.
Where we can
Visit
say
the
that?
relatives?
Visiting Will.
Yeah.
Are you
Oh,
gonna
okay.
Are you gonna go back like are you gonna find like your family?
No.
No.
Scusi. Boop.
I'll be doing a little of that.
All right. So Christian, I know you're a big Star Wars fan, so I want to let you know.
Very cool. Paulie, have a good time in Italy. You'll love it, I'm sure.
Thank you.
I got a good job on the radio this morning. I got to push back on you though about if we get A.J. Brown, not drafting a wide receiver in the first round. I'm of the mind that if a guy's there, I don't think he'll be there like Concepcion, but if he's there, I want to surround Drake with as much talent, young talent, cheap talent, for as long as possible. And I know they have significant needs at edge and tight end, and but I think if a guy's there, you got to take him, and it's allocating a lot of resources to one position. I get it; it's a lot of money, but that's where I come down on it. I want the most talent around Drake, and get me a lineman on your own time, as you say.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see it happening. I don't see them putting that amount of
bad roster management.
Romeo Doubs and A.J. Brown and a first-round pick at the same position. Like, I think you need more than that. I mean, it's great that you're going to have wide receivers settled, but what about the other positions on the roster?
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
They need another tight end too. Like they definitely need somebody, behind Hunter, and that I get.
So now you're basically into the third round without addressing your major needs.
Yeah, if you take him, sure, I see that.
So that's what I would be worried about, Christian. Is where do you get the edge guy? Where do you get a tackle to put in the pipeline if you don't get them early? And Evan already made the argument. I agree with him. If you don't get the tackle in the first round, you're probably looking at a developmental, day 3 kind of a guy, because there's really a huge gap at that spot. They can go a lot of different ways. It's not going to completely floor me if they do what you're saying, Christian, but I would be surprised if they took a wide receiver in the first round. If they are in fact going to get A.J. Brown and they took a wide receiver in the first round, to me that would be surprising.
Yeah, I mean, if
Yep.
Jordan Tyson falls, which isn't going to happen, I think everybody's decided that that's not happening now.
Take Jordan Tyson and scrap the A.J. Brown pick.
But
trade.
So you're going to pay Romeo Doubs a pretty good contract in free agency. You're going to give up a high draft pick in 2027 probably for A.J. Brown, maybe even your first round pick in 2027. And you're going to draft a wide receiver in the first round in 2026. So back-to-back first round picks plus
my guy Stout.
The financial commitment to Brown and to Doubs all at one position. I mean, I just, to me, that it's just not a great use of your assets.
Thanks, Christian.
There's just
I'm with you.
there's other
Totally with
positions
you.
on the roster.
All right.
See, we don't have to bicker.
Let's go to Patty in Agawam. What's up, Patty?
I don't understand it.
Hey, good afternoon, gents. How you doing?
Good.
So, you guys were talking about them, the team reporting yesterday for the first phase of OTA workouts, and there were 2 names that I did not see on the list of participants. One of them was Keishawn Booty, but the other one was Mike Onwenu. And I know there's been a lot of buzz about the Patriots taking a guard early. Where I'm kind of at with that is I would rather either just sign Onwenu to like a short-term, like 2 or 3 year extension, because I don't believe he's got any more guaranteed money left, or just take a guard late, like a developmental guard late, like Jeremiah Wright. Because I know Paul has said this before, like you can get a guard anywhere in the draft, or even in as a UDFA. And I just kind of wanted to go, I wanted to get your guys' opinions and takes on that, on where that stands, and I'll take it off here, guys.
All right, thanks. Thanks, Patty.
One thing that I would just say, and sometimes it's not true for everything. I thought it was notable that Christian Gonzalez was here yesterday.
I agree.
That I find notable. But, and Vrabel mentioned this today, they don't take attendance, right? It's a voluntary portion
where
of
did they come up with that Onwenu wasn't there?
Because they take the pictures that we post on Patriots.com, and they go through the pictures, and they say, here are the 30 guys I saw in the picture.
Yeah, but there were over 60 guys there.
That's
Right.
unfair.
So,
like
that's
Keishawn
sort of what
Booty posted, as Fred informed me, posted from Instagram from Miami.
Yeah.
So I'm comfortable saying that he wasn't there. Plus, Mike Vrabel then said that he had informed the team that he wouldn't be there. And that doesn't mean it's good that he wasn't there, but
Well, I was sort of getting to was I don't think it's fair to gauge things off of who is and isn't here.
No.
This time of year.
No.
I agree.
Either direction, whether that is this means something for the player's future. Like
Right.
yesterday, everybody was speculating, well, Keyshawn Boutte must be gone because he's not at day one of OTAs.
Yeah, that to me is unfair.
Yeah.
And I would say I'm going to be fair on the other side. Evan, you said that Gonzalez being here you took as a positive sign. I would tend to agree.
Because of the contract holdout.
Right. I would tend to agree. But I also would say it could very much be part of the contract situation.
Yeah.
You know, he's negotiating. He's trying to get a deal. See, I'm here.
Right.
Pay me. So now what happens if sort of you move ahead a
Right.
month and you go to the OTAs and the contract still isn't done?
Yep.
Okay. All right. I'm going to be at that one too. But
Right.
then all of a sudden, if it doesn't happen, I would much rather have him be there during training camp.
Yeah.
Than now.
Yep.
Last year, he wasn't there during training camp for large chunks when he pulled his hamstring.
Yep.
I would be much more concerned about it going that way.
That's right.
You know what I mean? If they
I
can't
try
get
not
this
to-
done. But I do. I mean,
I try not to look at too much into it.
April doesn't mean
all
anything.
these directions.
I look at it on the surface, and I would agree with Evan's assessment that seeing him yesterday was a positive sign.
Well, because this happens all the time around the league, so and so is not reporting to OTAs because of the contract.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence,
right?
And
so
all of a sudden he's gone a week later.
But we don't even to Patty's call. Maybe Mike Onwenu just wasn't front and center in any of the photos that they posted on Patriots.com.
And I don't know that he was. Maybe he wasn't there.
Or maybe he wasn't there.
I'm not
Right.
looking for a guard early.
Well, you
take a
might get
couple.
one.
Take a couple of guards in the 6th round, and maybe you can get one of them that turns out to be Mike Onwenu, who was a 6th round pick.
Adam in Louisiana, I'm staunchly anti-A.J. Brown trade. I want someone to grow with May. Brown is on the decline and will cost a lot in both draft picks and contract that could be used for Gonzalez or May or someone else. I don't need a first-round wide receiver this year, even though I love Casey Concepcion, but I could get behind Ted Hurst in the second. As for the sound volume, I find it quite okay. So he's another person having problems. But we're working on it.
I think the A.J. Brown trade, the idea, is similar to what they did with Diggs last year. You don't want to put any of the young guys in a spot where they have to be the savior. And by bringing in a guy like A.J. Brown, you at least have a veteran star receiver that has been in that position before in the pecking order. I think the guy that they're hoping that is going to grow with him is Romeo Doubs, is Kyle Williams, if they draft another receiver this year. But you don't want to be in a situation like they were in 24 where they draft Jalen Polk in the 2nd round and then they expect Jalen Polk to come in and be the guy.
Right.
So this allows you the right kind of development.
That's the version of the Mike Dussault lament with A.J. Brown. And the email that I totally agree with everything the emailer said. In a vacuum, if I have my choice, I can get a guy who's going to be Drake May's #1 target for the next 6-7 years or A.J. Brown. I'll take the guy for the next 6 or 7 years. The problem is what Evan said. You thought Jalen Polk was going to possibly be one of those guys. You thought N'Keal Harry was going to possibly be one of those guys. It doesn't always work out. So I have a guy who I know has a level of production in the NFL, in A.J. Brown. He's available. I don't think it's going to be cost prohibitive. I don't think it's going to cost them like multiple 1st-round picks or something that you don't want to do.
No.
So
it may not cost. You have a chance. It may not cost a 1st-round pick. Period.
Yeah, I agree with you. It might not, especially if these, if you guys are right, and it's more about how strong Schefter said it yesterday. No one else is interested.
Yeah.
So you're basically negotiating against yourself.
Yeah. Jeff in Canada, dear Evan, old people like me don't like having the picks tipped. Just let us enjoy the 45 seconds of not knowing. We know you know. You can still have your flowers. So are you a tip picker?
Not since I started working
pick
here.
tipper.
When we are on the radio, when we're doing the thing, and when we find out the pick, we say it.
I know. Should we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's
But
just.
we're not
that's
getting
just the
any inside
Patriots.
information.
No, but we do it before it's announced on TV.
Well, sometimes we don't even know when it's announced on TV.
Well, certainly later rounds, but early rounds, we usually say it when we hear it, and that's before it gets announced.
But we don't tip the pick because we're told what the pick is.
No.
We're finding out the same time you're finding out.
Well, if you're on
Just-
social media.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're not on social media and you're just watching TV, we're ahead of it.
Generally, the picks are on Twitter before they're on TV.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
There's a
And so this guy is
So
saying,
once the picks are known publicly, is my point.
Yeah.
there's a push.
Like, what are we waiting for?
There's a push to end pick tipping because people want the organic feeling of the draft to come back where Roger.
So how
Goodell
are they
comes
going
up.
to monitor that? How are they going to enforce that?
They're not going to enforce it. There's just it's a cultural thing of people saying. Peter Schrager came out with something yesterday and said, as people in the know, as media, let's all just stop.
Oh, so
tipping picks.
I'll be interested to see how that works because I'm all for it. If we don't find out until I don't care.
I don't care either.
I don't care when we find out, but when it's known, like I think we should say it. That's all.
So,
but if all the media guys that find out the picks, if they
Right.
don't tweet them, yeah,
That's
good.
not
I'll
gonna-
wait. I'll wait for the TV. That's not going to happen. I agree.
Yeah, I mean, look, the pick line is usually 2 or 3 minutes ahead of TV, maybe a little bit less. And when you're a reporter, you either have a source that's on the pick line, or you might have direct access to the pick line. And the pick line is just some moderator over the voice goes, with the 31st pick, the Patriots select so and so, and then all the wheels go into motion for the TV and for social media and all that for the team in the league to get ready to announce the pick.
Totally.
And so they need that buffer of a couple of minutes to get everybody pointed in the proper direction, and so that's why you get tip picking.
Jeff also says, if it's true we're trading for AJ, that is an all-in move, and if you're all in, you have to be truly all in. So draft players who will be ready to make a difference by the time the 26-27 season ends, hopefully in LA holding the Lombardi. Things like draft another receiver anyway, trade up, go nuts. We're all getting older, and these slow-building processes teams are very hit or miss. The Rams figured it out. Just go for it.
I feel bad.
So he's saying,
who's a slow building process team?
I don't know,
in the
teams that,
NFL?
just build through the draft. Green Bay, maybe?
No, there's a lot of teams that don't necessarily go free agency, but who's a slow build? Because I don't think there are any slow build teams in the NFL.
Anymore?
No, I don't think there ever have been. I
Yeah.
think that's the quickest turnaround league that there is. And there are teams that are like the Jets stink. The Browns stink. Like they haven't been able to do it, but it's not because we're going for the
Right.
slow build.
Right.
That happens in the other sports a lot. Like the NBA.
Well, the NBA is
with the playoff teams are openly not trying.
the
Like
NBA.
Philadelphia. Wow.
The NBA is the no build league.
Right.
But the NBA
But I don't think
is
it happens in the NFL a lot.
The NBA is different though because how much one player can tip the scales for you in
Absolutely.
that sport.
Absolutely.
But I tend to agree with the general premise of
this is an all-in move.
Just that they should be thinking in
Yeah.
that
I like the premise of
you
the
were
email.
one
I
win
do.
away from winning the Super Bowl. And whether they deserve to be there or not, or schedule or
Who cares?
breaks or what, they were one win away from winning the Super Bowl last year. I don't love the idea, and I haven't loved it all offseason of drafting, let's say, a tackle that's to sit him. Like I
agree.
Or this blasphemy that I hear about them taking a guard early.
Oh.
So you're not even taking the premium position on the offensive line, and you're still going to sit him. Or you're going to turn around and trade Mike Onwenu, who's one of your better players, because you
I don't like
drafted the
that
guard,
either.
right? So, like, I agree with that, but I do think that the other side of me is saying, well, the way the board is breaking, the tackle in the first round does kind of
He
make
might
sense.
be the best. It might be the best player,
Right.
And I'd be okay with that. I would agree too. Like, I don't want to say like I'm all in. I mean, I think you can sort of middle it a little bit and sort of recognize that yes, you had this tremendous season and went to the Super Bowl, but maybe you're not quite that talented to just expect to go to the Super Bowl every year based on talent alone. But you don't have to. Like, I wouldn't make an all-in kind of move and sort of forfeit a lot of draft picks, both for this year, next year. I wouldn't be making a huge move like that. A.J. Brown, I don't want to, like I said, I'm not giving up 2 first-round picks for A.J. Brown.
Right.
But if I could get him for a second and, something else, sure. Like, I think that's a good all-in kind of a move. I think you can play it down the middle. I think you can keep some of your assets going forward to build to where you want to be and be as good as you can be in 26.
Nate in Iowa, I'm curious what you guys think if we can pay May, A.J. Brown, and Gonzo all within the next 2 years.
Well,
yes,
but they also those contracts are not going to all kick in all at once, right? So like Gonzo's going to play the last year of his rookie contract this year. His extension would then start in 2027. Drake May is going to play the first 4 years of his rookie contract. His rookie contract extension won't kick in, I think, until 28 or 29. And then A.J. Brown at that point is probably not going to be here anymore, right? So, like, there is a staggered element of it that helps in terms of, like, cash flow or, in how it hits the books and all that kind of stuff. Like, you have, like, a 2 or 3 year window until you're paying Gonzalez and May at the top of the market to have another big contract on the books like an A.J. Brown.
Right. David in Texas wants to talk about the start to last Thursday's show. Just wanted to point out that when you all asked Evan about being potentially a scout, I just thought it was extremely funny the way he sounded. It was like he was a nervous high school kid in his first job interview. Did you feel nervous?
Yeah, I have like a little bit of imposter syndrome when it comes to that line of questioning, I think. Like, cause like
you don't want people to think that you already think
that
you're
you
a scout.
think that way.
Correct.
Right.
Like, I don't want it to come across like I'm like, oh, I could do that. Like, no, like there's even Mike Vrabel, when we talked to him earlier today, was like, look, I don't write reports. Like he's not trained and he's a coach. He's not a scout.
Right.
So I'm not trying to pretend like I'm anything.
Brian writes in. He wants to know, should the Patriots call Roseman's bluff? He's talking about Howie Roseman. Do all these leaks about the A.J. Brown trade seem suspicious to you? Could Howie Roseman be working the media to excite fan expectations to put some pressure on the Patriots to make the trade? Do we really think a future first is a real possibility and not Philly propaganda? I think people undersell how much leverage the Patriots will have after the draft. If the Eagles draft a receiver high, then they will have signed 2 veterans and have an upset Brown on their books. Do we really think the Eagles will keep a grumpy Brown in his contract rather than cut him? I say the Patriots call their bluff. Wait until after the draft, offer a day 2 2027 pick, and let the Eagles prove, if they mean it, that they want him on their team, because I would bet that they don't.
Has this guy been, like, listening to the last, 2 months worth of shows?
Yeah.
The trade's not happening until after the draft.
Right.
But I kind of agree with what he's saying, though, to an extent. If you just look at, like, the recent history of trades for receivers that are that age and where he's at in his career in terms of production, maybe being a little bit on the decline, there's not a lot of 29-year-old receivers that are getting moved for first-round picks or first-round picks plus more. So the framework of the trade is really what Diggs got when he went from Buffalo to Houston, which I think was like a second and like a 4th for a 5th, like some sort of pick swap thing in the 4th and 5th round.
Sounds right.
So the idea that they're going to get a 2027 first, which apparently everybody is treating like a precious gem to begin with because of how good the 2027 class is, it does feel like it's a little bit of a high asking price.
And I don't think he's going to get it. And I think... So that's my whole semantic argument with the whole June 1st thing is, I think he would have made the trade if he could have gotten what he wanted.
Right.
Like, in other words, I think that you can conveniently look at the salary cap as the reason that they're waiting. But if someone was offering him the first round picks that he wanted, I think he would have made the trade.
He would have.
I think it's pretty clear that no one. The picks. Yeah, right. I think it's pretty clear that no one's given him that price.
BB in New Hampshire. Since I asked her in the kids show whether Paul or Fred would win in a head-to-head coaching matchup, I have to ask, who wins between Evan and Barth? Who would win in a coaching matchup?
So I think that, if we're going to take this seriously, like,
of course we are.
I mean, how else would we take it?
Me and Alex are like meant to be on the same coaching staff because Alex is like, he goes to Paul's School of Clock Management, right?
So he's your right-hand man?
Yeah, like when.
So you're the head coach.
I didn't say that because
what you're saying.
He's kind of going there though a
So-
little bit. Yeah,
Are you're the offensive coordinator, I assume?
at least, yeah. You know.
At least.
You know, Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Head coach offensive.
Yeah.
You know, sorry.
Type
Kyle.
type pants guy. Yeah.
Is is Alex just in charge of special teams, or do we give him the defense?
No, I was gonna I think that Alex is like stretch. Like I think Alex.
He doesn't even get coordinator status.
Well, I think that's pretty big role. Like maybe not as much of like the analytics side. Like Alex doesn't do it that way necessarily with computers numbers per se. But when we have we do our autopsies of games on Catch 22 during the season. Like I say all of the X's and O's things that I thought from the game, and at the end he's always like, "Well, we're going to talk about how they handled the end of the half, right?" Yeah. And I'm like, "Wait, what do you mean? Like what happened at the end of the half?" And then he's got to tell me what happened during the game, you know.
What about
with Alex?
He also asked what's that? He also asked Evan versus Deuce. Now I think Evan wins that in a slam dunk because Deuce would be on the sideline like. You know,
I don't know. I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
He'd never get the guys out on time because he'd be thinking, who should I put out on the field? It'd be penalties left and right for 12 men on the field.
Like he'd want everybody to play.
Yeah,
because he wouldn't be able to make a decision.
You know,
I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings.
You just can't make decisions, and you have to make decisions during the game.
I would worry that because we're taking this totally seriously, I'd worry that my head coaching career would look a lot like Mike McDaniel, where like. You know, the X's and O's would be pretty good, right? But like the leader of men aspect, that would be where I would definitely struggle. Like you're not going to put me in front of a room of players and be able to do what like Mike Vrabel does, right? And rally the troops. Like that's going to be tough.
James Pettigrew, the most interesting Patriots fan in the world, says mock drafts were created by sports media employees to look busy during a down period. Evan can sit at his desk and look like he's working. They are a waste of time, Fred. Fire half the office.
Oh,
wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
I think people are taking the mock draft thing a little too seriously. Like, it's just content. Like, it's just a way to talk about the draft, talk about scenarios, all the things that we do on this show for the weeks leading up to the draft. It's just another form of that, of just having a chance to talk about different guys and different possible scenarios. I don't think it's as serious as like, oh, I was right. Like, I don't know.
Ethan in L.A., did someone just complain about tipping picks 45 seconds before the broadcast? What are we doing? You're listening to the PU broadcast. Who gives a blank about Goodell announcing the picks? My 2 cents. Well, a lot of people do both.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I understand that. And I understand why people get annoyed, but I just feel like if we're not going to be the ones that are telling you who the pick is. Someone else is putting the pick out there. If you have seen it or not.
Right, we're not going to break the news.
I can't control when you see it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
We're not going to break anything.
Yeah, we don't break any of the picks. Other people do that.
Yeah. Eric says, question, if Fred, Paul, and Evan could each make a Madden-style trade in this draft, what would it be and who would it be for?
So, like, force it. Like, you can't say no.
I don't know. What is a Madden style?
Well, that's the way I take it is, like,
Kenyon Sadiq.
Something that's, like, not going to happen, but in a la-la land, we can make this happen.
Okay, well, you know.
We'll move up a few spots and get Sadiq.
Oh, yeah. I think that's more, like, in all terms of fantasy land, that is at least, there's, like, 1% of realism, so that's not a bad one.
Well, what we don't see enough of in the NFL on draft day is draft trades involving players. So in other words, like it would take a lot for the Patriots to move into the top 15 from 31. But what if you gave that in booty or a player? You know, like, can you do it that way? And you don't see enough of that.
You don't see a whole lot of that. You're seeing more nowadays player for player trades that we didn't see a ton of that.
The player picks on draft weekend are generally for like day 2 and day 3 picks. You know, like Corey Dillon and Randy Moss, those kinds of trades.
Back then.
But to move up in the first round, I agree with you, Fred. That doesn't really seem like a lot of players are involved in those.
Yeah.
What I don't understand, and I think it's more probably mostly financial, but like once the draft starts and a team wants to move up, the draft picks all of a sudden the value of the draft pick is nowhere near as high. But if you want to trade a draft pick for a player, it's like, whoa, well, we can't trade that. That's too much, right? Then we get into draft day, and it's like last year was it the Falcons that traded like their future first round pick to come up and draft James Pierce, right? Now all of a sudden the picks have all this less value, or we'll trade 2 fourths and a third to move up on day 2. Well, you wouldn't trade 2 fourths and a third any other time of the year except maybe during the draft when you're watching the parade go by. It's just weird how the value during the draft of the pick seems to be watered down.
Dave in Bethlehem has a request. He says, please report what facts have been reported when you're talking about off-field issues. Cite the source. Jaywalking is different from punching a policeman. Use of the phrase without specifics is useless. I get what he's saying. So when you say a player has off-field issues.
You had said that he had one of the players that the TCU receiver
Yeah, but I see what he's saying because that gets used a lot. Oh, he has red flags. Well, what are they?
Yeah.
I'd try.
Did he not return the library book, or
in
did
general,
he burn down the library?
In general, that's not what we're talking about.
I know.
The draft magazines don't consider the things that you would consider minor and insignificant are not considered huge red flags in draft magazines.
Right. Something to do with the law.
But it's not like
Zachariah Branch blocking the sidewalk the other day and getting arrested.
It's not general. It's generally gun related, domestic violence related, violence against women. Like those are the things that are causing people
fights that you got arrested for.
Those are things that are causing people to drop in the draft.
Yeah.
Not like marijuana possession, which I think most people would probably consider minor.
So
those
we
are not
talked about
causing you to drop.
McAllister. We talked about Colby Young from Georgia, who I believe it was like assault and battery was the charge against him. I think it was. So like we're talking about like violent crimes, things that are involving violence for the most part.
Violent crimes, things involving violence. No, I totally agree.
Library cards and,
if it's significant enough that it's going to cause a guy to drop, like a guy's going to be a second-round pick and now he may be a late day 3 pick, then it's generally something to do with violence.
Yeah, like McAllister, I would say, is probably a middle of the draft talent.
Or like DUI, potential.
Yeah, like he's probably a I don't know, like 3rd or 4th round talent-wise type of pick. He might go completely undrafted because of maturity, some of the charges brought against him. Colby Young probably a little bit later than that just based off talent, but again, another guy that it was assault and battery that was held against him.
I do like the email, though. I get it. You're right. And there's not all red flags are
I would
equal.
not.
But yeah, I think for the most part, you can be pretty safe that if it's something that's significantly affecting a player's draft stock, it's usually pretty significant.
Especially if we are talking about it. Like I don't really necessarily bring up things that are minor. We hear a lot of time this time of year about just overall maturity with players. Not necessarily that they've done anything wrong in the eye of the law, but just that, they have some growing up to do and they're not necessarily pros yet. And
that could be a red flag.
It could be a red flag for some people. I tend to stay away from those things because I don't know the kid. Like I've never been around him. Yeah. I've never been on a team with him. I've never coached him. I've never any of those things. So like I don't really know. And I don't love that about draft season. I don't love the anonymous scout from an AFC team saying, really talented kid, but kind of a head case. Like, what does that mean? Right. And to each person their own in terms of stuff like that.
Jacob in Kennesaw, Georgia. I really appreciate all the draft content. Can't wait for the draft shows. It's crazy that the best content comes in the off season for a team's official content, but you all do a fantastic job. 2 quick questions. 1, who is one player that you predict will be a Patriot by noon on Sunday, no matter what the round or position is? I'm going to say Nolan Rucci.
Okay, I'm going to go with I had to answer this question for All Access. I didn't have it. It's a lot harder when you don't have Navy lacrosse players like we used to have.
Rutgers.
We do have Eli Heidenreich.
But I'm going to go with Bechter. Is it Betch?
The kid from Oregon?
Yeah.
Betcher.
Betcher.
Bryce Betcher.
Bryce
Linebacker,
Betcher.
Oregon.
I like the, sort of the
You like the cut of his jib?
Well, I think they're going to, based on Elliott Wolf, they're going to take a day 3 linebacker. I would be very surprised. They need some depth pieces. I think he may not pan out to be an every down linebacker in the NFL, but I think he'll be an absolute special team guy from day one. I think he has that kind of ability. I like the story. I like the baseball background, so I'm kind of partial to that. But he was a guy that sort of stood out to me as a day 3 linebacker, Patriot type. Fills a need.
His second question, what's your answer?
I don't know. I don't like the question.
You're hoping I wouldn't go to you.
No,
Just
just
one of your BC linemen.
I don't know. It's just too many. There's too many.
Okay.
I told you it's harder without the
I
Navy
like
lacrosse
Betcher.
guys.
I think Aiden Fisher from Indiana, the linebacker from Indiana. Those two guys feel like the linebackers that they might be interested.
Are the
in.
Indiana guys going to get overdrafted this year?
I don't think
a little
so.
higher than they would normally.
So I
because
think-
of the national title run.
I think the other way.
Well, plus
because
the coaching.
I think
They got good coaching.
but they're
They did.
older.
And yeah, they're
So I think that drops them down. That's you're starting to see it now. I saw that was part of that Schefter draft intel thing. There was an item on a lot of the decision makers are taking note of how much these guys are staying in school longer because they're getting paid some money, and the draft age is increasing.
Yep.
I don't like it.
They don't like it either.
I
They're
agree.
with you, Ev.
I think the number one. I think people get this a little bit confused. A lot of people bring it up in terms of contract, like the second contract, and they're not going to be 3 contract players because they're older. To me, it's more about upside. Like when you're already 23 and you're playing in college football at 22 years old, your ceiling,
your finished product,
is capped. Like your body's already developed. You've sort of developed your physical traits. So, I think there's value in Will Campbell, Drake May, Christian Gonzalez, all guys that were true junior declares and were 20, 21 years old.
Yeah.
Their last years in college. Well, Drake May was the runner-up for MVP. Christian Gonzalez is a Pro Bowler. Like, there's a reason why those are the guys that go at the top is because they have more potential and more upside.
And the other part of that, Freddie, that they mentioned was not just the finished product, but the wear and tear. They've played more football. They've gotten more injuries, more bruises.
I mean, like Mesidor is a 25-year-old rookie who's had like 4 injuries in college. You know.
Second question: what is the best argument to come out of a draft show? I would probably say the Rivers Have Tides argument was up there, but wanted to get your thoughts. Going to need someone to step up and bring some Andy energy.
So this was not during the draft show, but the Joe Milton post-draft show was definitely the best one.
Okay.
Sorry, Paul.
You like that
a
one?
little bit. It was a little bit during the draft.
That was the best one. Will Joe Milton be a
It was
distraction?
because of the draft.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
I think my time here, that was my favorite one.
Okay.
so far.
And
we were right. You were right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It wasn't a distraction.
Oh no!
They literally
it
traded
was,
the guy.
It was such a non-distraction that they got rid of him for nothing.
They got
the
rid of-
very next year.
They got rid of him because he was being a pain in the ass.
Correct, which is what I said was going to
But
happen.
That
He
did not
thinks he's-
hurt Drake May.
No, because he's now in Dallas.
I know, but
We're still arguing.
That's Paul-like stubbornness right there.
P.S. Barth for host of the pre- and post-game show this season.
He's too busy.
Need more of him and Fred's interaction, especially when Fred is feeling his high highs or low lows. And what's the follow-up from Fred's Super Bowl gift? We never got to do it. I showed the women the picture, and they said, we can't. It's going to cost you extra. I don't have that kind of
He's
money.
good. I'm not making fun of him. He's too busy during game day
You
for
couldn't
us.
do the pre- and post-game show?
I don't think so, because he's either doing their pre and post game show or he's writing for the website on the sports.
He does a show, I think. He does like a
Sunday
show.
Sunday kickoff.
Yeah.
Which is I'm on it sometimes. It's 8 to 10. I sometimes call in. I believe it's 8 to 10. I think he does it.
He could do our show after that.
Well, but the Sports Hub puts him to work. Is my point. Yeah, it's tough.
All right. I'd consider him.
You consider it
for pre and post game show host?
I'll let him know.
I think he'd bring his own flavor. He likes to mix it up. He's a hot take guy.
Yeah,
he likes his hot takes.
He doesn't. He's available, but I think that the Sports Hub keeps him busy. on game day.
Maybe it'd be good for them to have him here.
I
Get some
agree.
training behind the mic, get some real reps in.
I will let him know. I have told him before that I was like, "Do you want me to bring it up to Fred?" I will, and he says that he's busy.
Okay, all right. Well,
I'll talk to him
He's
about
going to
it.
play coy. That's fine with me. Caleb in
Playing coy is
Knoxville.
busy.
The only offensive players that matter in this draft cycle for the Patriots are Chris Brazel and the third and Max Iannacor. Those are the only two people he says that matter.
Okay.
I think this Iannacor guy, I think they might end up with him.
Iannacor, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that he's.
I mean, obviously Vrabel had the video with him and all that, but
he did the same thing with your guy Jude
see,
Barry.
that's what he does. He lays hands on players, and it's like the Force. They become loyal to him forever.
I know people kind of make fun of the fact that he participates in these pro days and things like that. I actually think that it's hugely beneficial, and I'm not being sarcastic. Like the trenches is all that's you need to be able to see if a guy has NFL caliber play strength, both in his core and in his hands. And he played in the league, and he's a big dude.
I know, but he's also 50.
But he at least knows what it feels like to be blocked by somebody with NFL caliber mitts.
Heavy hands.
And I think that there's value to being able to add that. He's like he said today, he's not going to write up a full scouting report on a guy that's not his area of expertise. So the fact that he can bring in a little bit of expertise in terms of going out to Arizona State and working out Iannacor and telling the scouts, if this guy's got it or not, I think it's beneficial to them.
I just hope 30 years from now he's not like,
Yeah, we're screwed. We got a small window of him being able to help.
not like Zimmer getting knocked to the side.
I'm saying
by
it's
Pedro
the only
Martinez.
thing. Well, apparently Will Campbell put him on his butt, and I'm still like, someone has to have video of that. LSU, somebody that's got to exist somewhere.
Tim in California, I think mock drafts have helped me learn some of the players that are outside of the top 10 on first round. For example, I learned that the tight end from Stanford, Sam Roush, is related to Merlin Olsen from the old L.A. Rams defensive line, as well as starred in Little House on the Prairie. So if the Patriots draft him, maybe he can be in a Father Fred episode. Merlin Olsen.
Different show that he was on? Like,
Merlin Olsen?
yeah. Isn't he on
Yeah,
something
I don't
else?
think it was Little House on the Prairie. He wasn't. was
Father
he?
Murphy or something like that?
Yeah, I think, Merlin Olsen. But he was on TV, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, I'm tired of the A.J. Brown stuff. Draft Chris Brazel from Tennessee and be done with it. Okay?
Me and Eldred have turned all these people
Father
into Chris
Murphy.
Brazel
Oh,
things.
and Little House on the Prairie. He was on both.
People are seconding Barth for a pre- and post-game show. Him and Paul arguing over the right way to use timeouts at the end of game sequences would be radio podcast
I
gold.
like Alex too much to argue with him.
I feel like when you guys did the good, the bad, and the injured, though, like once he started to go into special teams in either direction, that would be a problem. You wouldn't be able
You'd
to.
be surprised how many times special teams works its way onto my bad list.
It's he can't help himself.
All right. That's going to be it for this edition of Patriots Unfiltered. Catch 22, the
Tomorrow
final
noon.
pre-draft Catch 22 tomorrow. Anything you're going to I think I asked you before, you're going to reveal anything?
Yeah, so we're gonna do our top 10 mock draft of like the actual top 10. I know that's not Patriots, but it's draft. and
Yeah,
it's-
sure.
It's relevant.
It
so-
will affect who they...
Yeah, and I haven't put a first round mock or anything like that out myself, so this would be the one time we do that. And then we'll probably share who we think it's really going to be at 31.
Okay.
On the show tomorrow.
All right, so we've got that. And then, of course, our show, which will start at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursday night. We'll have a lot of stuff coming from the draft party. I'm sure we're going to have Patriots executives talking, maybe Vrabel, maybe Wolf, Mr. Kraft. So we'll have that. We'll bring that into the show from 7 to 8. And then, of course, the draft starts at 8, and we'll be here with bells on.
We'll also, real quick, on Thursday from 1 to 2,
good plug.
You'll get Mike Dussault and Evan Lazar. I do not believe I will be here for that because
little appetizer.
Because just a little.
It's like the cocktail hour.
taste. Exactly.
It's a cocktail hour.
Red carpet.
Preview.
Yeah, red carpet. Maybe we'll get Matisse and Chris Cassidy up from the bullpen.
I'll be
since
doing my
Paul
other
will be-
shows.
Sounds good. All right. We will see you on Thursday.
Hey, this is Deuce. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us wherever you get your podcasts, like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else that we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.